What's up, everybody? It's SJG. Welcome to HBCU Game Day, and it is that time again, your favorite time of the week, where we remind you that D2 HBCU football matters. Really excited this week. We've got the CIAA and the SIAC are both pretty much now all in conference play. I know we had a straggler last week. A couple folks had to get that money, so shout out to Miles College for almost pulling up the upset. And I know our guy Kendrick has got something to say and a play to review actually about Saturday's game that was a thriller between Miles College and Arkansas Pine Bluff. And then we also in the CIAA, we had a fierce day of inter-conference rivalry where the CIAA North took on the CIAA South. And look, I've been pretty vocal about the CIAA South the last half decade or so. They have not been up to par with the CIAA North. But hey, you know what? On Saturday, the CIAA South went 3-3. So definitely, Kris is going to have a lot to say about that when he hops on as well. But to get us started, we have our very first guest on D2 HBCU Football Matters. Before I bring him on, what I need for you guys to do, all 13 of you, 14, 15, can we get to 15? Give me there. And we want everybody to make sure that you're subscribed not only to the YouTube, but also that you are got those notifications on so you don't miss any of the great content that we have coming for you from D2 HBCU Matters and everything else, all HBCU game days. So with that in mind, again, I told you we guys had a very special guest. We have our first live guest, right? Our first guest, and that is he's a coach in the CIAA. He's a coach of the newest school in the CIAA, sort of. A couple years ago during the pandemic, Bluefield State College, now Bluefield State University, launched their brand new football program. Right in the middle of the pandemic, they added a whole bunch of sports. They took that CARES Act money and really expanded. And they went ahead and added football into the mix. They hadn't had football in decades. They hadn't had on-campus housing in decades, but they decided to go ahead and make that move to start a Division II program. And 2 years and a lot of wins later for a brand new program, they are now members of the CIAA once again. Bluefield State, of course, is an HBCU that is located in West Virginia. It is majority white, but a proud member of the CIAA historically. And earlier this year, late last year, we broke the news that they would be joining the CIAA. So all of that said, we have the head coach of Bluefield State University football, the architect even of this program, with us today, head football coach Tony Colson. Coach Colson, how are you feeling today?
I'm good, brother, man. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate all the support. The architect, haven't heard that one before, but I appreciate all the support that you give me throughout this process, man, and very excited to be on with you tonight.
It's 2020. I appreciate you guys for that technical snafu. It's 2020. We'll go back to everything else that's happened since then, but it's 2020. It's a global pandemic. Nobody's really sure what's going on. Nobody's sure about football, sports, anything in life really about what's going on. And all of a sudden, there's an opportunity that presents itself to you. So let's talk to me about what that was like for you. Just take me through that process.
Yeah. So at the time, going back, I've been have goals and aspirations to be a head coach for several years, and tried to get my name in a lot of different mixes of programs, PWIs and HBCUs, and didn't get a lot of traction, and got really frustrated. I was like, felt I was qualified to at least be able to get an interview, and kind of, be able to present myself, and wasn't having much luck. And just kind of reached out to some guys that we shared the same representation, or I met through years, and kind of be like, hey, man, what am I doing wrong? And I was like, hey, it's really not that. And at the time, I was at the University of Northern Colorado, and then there was kind of looking through things and saw about Bluefield State looking to bring a football program back, looking for a head coach. So Didn't know where Bluefield State was, but, kind of looked into it and trying to go learn a little bit about it. And as I continue to kind of just go down the road to learn more about it, I'm like, okay, why not? Let's look into it deeper and at least throw my name in there and see if I can get a bite and kind of at least learn about it and go through the process and see what happens. And just kind of kept going down the road, and there was a connection in the area of someone who shared a West Point connection with me, who knew me from my time as a cadet at West Point, a player, and then even when I went back as a coach. And that's kind of how I got connected with the powers that be at Bluefield State. And one of the first conversations I had was with President Capehart, and we hit it off and went through the process and got to know each other. And then just kind of next call was our athletic director, Derek Price, who at the time was the interim and the head basketball coach. And we went through and we spent another hour or so, 2 hours on the road on the phone, and then got me on the phone with someone else on board of governors and things like that. So that started on a Friday. And, really from that time, Friday to Sunday, I talked about 4 or 5 different people about the opportunity, and it felt more and more like, hey, they're really interested in bringing me on, at least for an interview. So, I jumped at the opportunity to go through it, and I was fortunate enough to get an interview. And my mindset was always, I just needed someone to give me a shot to, interview, and I'll handle the rest. And it all worked out, and flew up there in midweek. And by that Friday, I was being introduced as the new head coach.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like you kind of wait for it your entire life, and it seems like it's never going to get there, and then it happens very quickly. And then not only are you again the head coach, but again, I mean, when I called you the architect, really, I mean, I think you talked about you did everything from, picking out, obviously hiring your coaching staff and everything like that, but even picking out the uniforms and things like that. And you guys are playing football in less than a year. Just talk about that process, what that was like, and going out and recruiting guys on something that hadn't been done in over 40 years at Bluefield State.
Yeah, so got hired in October, and went right away. Made calls right away to guys that I've known for a while, and made my first hire in my offensive coordinator, a good friend of mine, Coach Jermaine Gales, who's now his own head coach out in Missouri. And really just kind of going through the process, we immediately started recruiting and trying to evaluate guys and look at guys that we wanted. And like you said, we did everything. Started designing a uniform for the program, and started looking at coaches that we wanted to bring in. And as he and I just kind of going through it and starting that whole process, and just really hit the tracks of guys that we knew, and then evaluating players, and got to a point where we built the staff and got 80 kids in here by the following fall. And throughout that process, like I said, with the uniforms and ordering all the equipment and things like that, even came up designing our logo for our dog head logo, which has been a hit, not only within the school but just nationwide. So really putting all those things in it and getting that done. And we just we had to go through the process of finding young men that just wanted an opportunity, because there's not a lot of bells and whistles. Like you said, we didn't have dorms here in over 50 years. 50 to 60 years before the program kind of came back. So our process was like getting the young men that wanted an opportunity, that felt, that believed in what we believed in, and how we felt about building a program. And our whole mindset has been, the football is a way to teach these young men how, and to prepare them for life. And the trials and tribulations you learn on the football field will prepare you for everyday life. And that's what we go about. And we live that every day. Not a day goes by where I don't take something that happened on the field or in the classroom and things they experience and say, hey, here's how this is going to help you prepare you for life, in wins and losses, all those things. And that's truly what we believe in, because that's what I think our ultimate mission is just to get these young men to go on to be great. And it's not just to go out and be successful in life. Our goal is that when you play for us and you graduate from Bluefield State and from our program, you're ready to go out and change the world. That's literally our mindset and our goal with our building our program and teaching our young men what we got to go through, and just letting them know, hey, life's not easy. And they've been given a big misconception that things are in today's world, that they're entitled to a lot of things, and there's shortcuts and then instant gratification. And we're like, hey, that's not what the real world is. And we're trying to teach you those things that's going to allow you to be successful in the real world and not set you up for failure. So that's what the process. And again, just hiring a group of coaches that believed in the things that we believed about, or that we believe in, and that we can instill on these young men, that it can be mentors for them. And then, getting on the field right away and playing, less after being hired, and having a chance to win that very first ball game with 2 minutes to go. That was a great feeling for me and for our staff. And then week 2, playing against a CI now conference member, Elizabeth City, in our second game. We go down 21-0, pretty early in the first quarter, and we find a way to battle back and win that game and get our first win. And then we rattled off 3 in a row. So it's been one heck of a ride to go through that. And, now we're kind of where we've always wanted to be from the outset of getting the program going, of being in the CI. And we're excited to really compete and try to make some noise and really compete for a championship.
We're talking with Coach Tony Colson of Bluefield State University, taking us, on his path to becoming a head coach and then starting a program. And they had a lot of success in the first 2 years. A lot of programs aren't winning games that have been around for a lot longer time. And so you guys get to the CIAA this year, a lot of excitement around that. And, you talk about making your presence felt. You guys opened the season. It was not a conference game, but you guys opened with a conference opponent in Livingstone College, who kicked off HBCU football back in 1892. So they've been around for a long time, and that was supposed to be, somebody said it, that was supposed to be you guys welcome to the CIAA moment. You guys kind of welcomed Livingstone to the CIAA. Talk to us about that first game. You guys had quarterbacking change, had to go with a true freshman, and he delivered big time results. Just talk about that situation on game 1, kicking off you guys CIAA football time.
Right. Yeah. Again, it was very exciting to kind of get it going. Once we got everybody in, to start camp, it was all about, hey, we're where we wanted to be, and going down there. And yeah, it wasn't a conference game, so to speak, when it counts to the standings that way. But, we wanted to make an impression. We wanted to, kind of announce our own arrival and let everybody know, hey, that we're here, and, we're here to compete. And everybody was excited about it. It was kind of a late scratch with our starting quarterback, who was going through some ailments. And, we told the rookie, say, hey, man, you're up. And the young man, Jackie Hart from Lithia Springs High School in Georgia, he prepared himself for it all camp. Very, very mature, very level-headed, never gets too high, never gets too low, just came to work every day. And, the kid went out there, man, and looked like he's been doing it for 4 or 5 years. And, he throws his first touchdown pass, and, we're all jumping around excited, and I'm excited for him. And he kind of unstraps his chin strap and walks off the field like he just was a 3 and out or something, just calm and cool, man. And, I gave him a big hug and said, hey, man, well, welcome to college football, kid. And he did a great job. 5 touchdown passes in his first game, and set a school record for the most touchdown passes in a single game, and was named conference quarterback of the week and rookie of the week in an opening, and a big win for us. So defense played lights out. Defense is playing lights out all year. That was if we had to write a script for how we wanted to start, that was a heck of a way to get it going, to let everybody know, hey, we're a group of guys that want to compete and fight, and that we belong in the conference.
Yeah, and so you talk about that. It was a great start for you guys. Next game was a non-conference game, Emory and Henry. Tough game for you guys, and then you head back down North Carolina, back down I-77, and a lot of people don't really understand. Even though you guys are actually in the CIAA North, you're really close to a lot of those schools in the CIAA South. You're Livingstone. I think you're probably about 2.5. Was it probably about a 2.5 hour drive from there, right? Yep. 2 hours to Winston this week. and then it was probably 3 hours depending on traffic to Charlotte. Was that about right?
About two and a half
Okay,
to Charlotte.
wow. Okay, yeah. So and I live right on 77, so I know I know how that goes. So yeah, you guys played. It's interesting. You guys played the oldest two football HBCUs in your first two CIAA conference games. You played Johnson C. Smith. Didn't go the way that you wanted, but just talk about the importance of you guys getting on the road, getting in some of these places that you've been recruiting, because you've actually been recruiting a lot of different guys from a lot of different places.
Right. Yeah, it's great. And we played Johnson C the last 2 years, so it's kind of one of those situations that can build into just a natural rivalry. We're so close. We played them each year since we restarted the program. We were able to win the first two, and they got us this past weekend. And Coach Flowers doing a heck of a job of getting the program going, and it was a hard-fought game. It got a little bit away from us late, but both teams played hard defensively. There were some great plays going on, and it was a great contest. And they made more plays than we did, and hats off to them for getting the W. And just kind of, and I mentioned this on our own show that we had last night. Unfortunately, we had a young man get injured, appeared serious at the time. He's doing well and he's fine. Our captain, and had to do the whole he got taken out on the stretcher and the board for precautions. And like I said, he's all fine and everything. But on Monday, I received a call just from a random individual on my desk phone in my office. I answered the phone, and he gave me his name and said he was at the game, and he's a Johnson C. Smith fan. And he said, "Hey, saw your young man got hurt, and I was just calling just to check on him and see how he was doing." And in all my years of coaching, I've never had that happen from a random fan. Yes, I've had coaches and things like that, but just a random fan to call and say, "Hey, I wanted to check on the young man that got hurt." And I told him he's doing fine and everything. And he was like, "Yeah, we're competitors on the field and everything, but in the CI, we all look after each other." So that was great to hear from that. And that's just that's the kind of the standard for not only Johnson C. Smith's fan base, but the fan base here in the conference. That makes it even more worthwhile and more exciting to be a part of that type of environment. That rabid competition off the field and all that, but when it comes down to it, it's all about caring for each other and everybody involved. So, but yeah, that's kind of how it was, and we're just looking for more of that as we go through, and we're expecting another dogfight, another hard-hitting contest and hard-fought contest this week down in Winston-Salem State.
Gotcha. Yeah. And, you talk about that game. We'll talk about that game a little bit later. My alma mater, just for clarity. So, I've been a big.
I see that pillow. I see that pillow in the background over there.
I mean, look, I had to decorate with something.
Strategically placed.
I mean, it just happened to be there, but we all gotta go to school somewhere, right? But I think it's gonna be a great game. But before we talk about that, I want to bring in one of the co-hosts here. We're gonna bring in Mr. Kendrick. He is SIAC down. He's Mr. SIAC, but I know he had some questions he wanted to ask you as well. So
think you muted. Are you muted?
Okay, I think Kendrick, are you there? Okay, I think Kendrick's having some Wi-Fi issues. Let's see if we can get that taken care of. Kendrick, can you hear me? Oh. But so we'll talk about the games. I know I know Kendrick had a couple questions he wanted to ask you. We talked about it a little bit earlier. We had a couple questions that he wanted to ask you about something a little bit wider in scope, but something we think is important. And that is some of the proposed new legislation that they have out there. And I know being a coach, that's something that you guys kind of have to keep a gist of. But there's some proposed legislation out there that would allow you guys the ability to scrimmage against other schools in the spring. You know, have you thought about that? And obviously you're in the season right now, but would you be in favor of that? Do you think it would help you guys at the D2 level to kind of see somebody else in addition to the regular spring ball that you guys normally get?
Yeah, and when it came up last year, you know, I definitely had some good vibes about it and the potential of doing it. I definitely see some benefits in it. You know, one, again, it allows you to, you know, play against another opponent in different schemes, just to get an idea of the guys you have. You know, this, you know, potentially it could be things to where, you know, it could be another revenue stream of making the spring game something like that, and get kind of two fan base. And I again, there's still a lot of stuff to pick out on that, but that's one thing that popped in my mind about it. You know, be something for your fans and things like that, and you know, help, like I said, make a little bit of money on to help your program and your school. So it's definitely beneficial to do that, and have that opportunity to get something like that in the spring setting. So it'd be interesting. You know, as once the season's over, we'll look into it and kind of see of how the best way to go about it, and if it's something that we're going to want to try.
Okay. Great. And then let's see. Try to bring Kendrick on again. Let's see if we can hear him now. Kendrick, can you hear us?
Yes, can you all hear me?
Yes. So we can hear you. Great. So I already kind of stole your thunder a little bit asking the first question, but I'm gonna let you guys chat for a little bit. So I'll hop off and we'll let you ask that question and just kind of anything else you've been wanting to ask them. I know you guys have talked before and everything, but
How you doing, Coach?
I'm good, brother. How's it going?
I'm doing well. Listen, I was rooting for you last week because I got a little problem with Coach Flowers for coming down here and beat my Golden Tigers when he was at Fort Valley. So I was definitely rooting for you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Couldn't we had to let you down, man.
It's all right. You know, I mean, I've heard you speak, you know, on the other spaces, and just, you know, I want to congratulate you on the work that you're doing at Bluefield State. You know, I know last season you played a couple of SIAC schools. I think you all beat Central State.
Yes.
And then you played Fort Valley State too, right? Yeah. So, you know, I was definitely, you know, when we took that L to you, I think, when we took the L from Central State, I was like, okay, Bluefield, yeah, all right. So this season, you know, I was looking over your roster. Like just a young team. Like, how has that being like recruiting to get those guys in there, get them acclimated to your program? How's that process been going for you?
Yeah, I mean, you know, from the get-go, we leaned on a lot of high school kids to get it going, because again, we knew we didn't have a lot of the tangible things to really offer and lay out, and really to hit the portal early on. If I could change anything, I may have tried to get one or two earlier on, just to bring some leadership into the program that first year. But you know, I believe in building a program through, you know, high school recruiting, and then just using the portal to subsidize and hit the key spots that you need for your team, and kind of just get other leadership around. But yeah, even though we're 3 years in, we're still a very young team overall, but we do have a mixture of all four classes. We have some guys that have been with us for 3 years. And then, you know, we got, still heavy on the freshman group. And then we hit the portal the hardest this year than we ever have, again, to bring some leadership from each position. Bring some leadership, upperclassmen leadership to each position on our team. And I think we did that. So, and so with this year, it's been a good mix, because, again, the guys have been here for 3 years, 2 years. They know what we're about, how we do things, and what our culture is, and they help not only bring the freshmen in, not just into, hey, this is what college football is, but what Bluefield State football is, but also the upperclassmen who have come in from other places that kind of teach them the ropes on that side of it, and then those guys, kind of just help the whole team and the young guys to understand college football in general. So it's been a good mix. And, guys have really bought into kind of how we do things. And like I said, I like the mix of our team, and, just ready to see how the rest of the season plays out, starting this weekend down in Winston.
Okay. And I tell you what, I'll be rooting for you again this weekend, because Winston-Salem is another thorn in my Golden Tigers side. So you go ahead.
We knew that was coming.
Don't be like that, Stephen. We might see each other down in Florida. You know, if y'all get to that 6th win.
Hey, look, man, look, one at a time. You got one. We'll see about the next one. Coach, speaking of that game in Winston-Salem, again, a short ride for you guys. What does your day look like? As you're mapping it out, when you have a game that it is a road game, but again, it's 2 hours down the road. So what's your day look like? Take us through that, because I think a lot of times people who didn't play athletes or athletics as Division II, let's talk about what your day looks like as you guys get prepared, or what the next 48 hours looks like for you guys. Because 48 hours from now, you guys will be in Bowman Gray Stadium. Well, not quite 48, 72. Anyway, I didn't learn my math at WSU. That was
so I mean, our practice during the week, Mondays is our off day. That's a day, we do pretty much a lot of our game planning, and it allows the players to start their academic week off the right way. We have a lot of study halls on Monday, obviously no practice, things like that. And so again, that's our one day of the week where, hey, they can get away from us and we can get away from them for a little bit. And then Tuesday and Wednesdays are our heavy work days, football wise. So obviously that was, Wednesday was today. Tomorrow we kind of have a walkthrough type practice. We'll do a little bit more special teams focus and kind of take the pads off and be more of a mental day and fine tune things like that. Friday is what we call our Fast Friday. We put the shoulder pads on, but it's still no contact really, and it's just kind of moving at an up-tempo pace, going through things at full speed, but still keeping the physical contact off. And then usually, if an away game is, let's say if it was an early kickoff, we would drive up to Winston, Friday and go from there. But since it's a night game, we'll stay here, stay at home, and then get everything going in the mornings. We'll get them up Saturday morning, kind of just get them moving around a little bit, do walkthroughs, things like that. Get everything packed up, eat here before we leave, and then we'll hop on the bus and drive up and get to the stadium probably about 3 hours for a kickoff, and then go into our pregame warm-up, pregame routine, I should say.
It gets a little bit crazy at Bowman Gray. So, we got a little bit of distractions. It's not Bluefield. It's not Salisbury. It's not Johnson C. Smith.
Amen to it, Coach. Amen to it, Coach.
We're looking forward to it, man. We really are. We've been playing HBCU marching band music all week in practice, and I'm being very honest. We're very excited, looking forward to it, being into that type of environment that Winston-Salem State is known for, and looking forward to that, and just embracing that, man, and just our mantra in general. We really enjoy going on the road. Our thing is, hey, going on the road, try to be the bad guy every week. Kind of you get that, just you and your brothers mentality. It's us. Again, I'm a military guy. It's just you and your brothers that are in the foxhole, and getting down there and enjoying that. Not any other distraction. What's going on? You don't have to worry about anything else. It's just you and the crew. And let's go. Let's see if we can go and ruin some people's day or night, depending on what time the game is, and do it. And that we really embrace it, and we've had success really playing well on the road.
No doubt, Coach. We got another Kris, D2K Ferg. I'm sure you guys have talked before.
What's up, my guy?
Yeah. So I'm gonna make sure he gets a chance to
chat
a little bit too before we get you out of here. But we don't take up too much of your time. But yeah, the floor is yours, Kris.
I don't have anything. I'm just glad that he's here. I love talking to Coach Colson.
What's up, my man?
Hey, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, like I said, man, we're really looking forward to it. It's been once we saw the schedule coming out, and we were going to be playing down there. It's something, not only us as our football program, but our administration and some of our faculty and stuff like that to come down. Our women's basketball coach is a proud Ram, Paul Davis. So I know he's looking forward to it as well.
Hey, Coach, I do have a question though. Last weekend against Johnson C. Smith, it seemed like y'all had a lot of penalties. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because it seemed like it had like almost 100 yards of penalties, and that just seemed kind of uncharacteristic.
Yeah, it definitely was. It's always, you always want to have as little penalties as possible, and we've usually been pretty good about that. There's definitely a handful of them that I didn't really agree with, and felt there were some that weren't called the other way, but you're going to have that. I kind of looked at them, and certain things we got cleaned up and things like that. So it's definitely something that we got to make sure that we don't make a habit, and we've been pretty good about that in the last few years of not being highly penalized. But again, it's one of those things that sometimes it gets out of hand on you a little bit, and we just got to make sure we get that cleaned up and we address some of them, a couple of little things, and things like that. But when it comes to penalties, if guys are playing hard, you're going to have some at some point. We just want to make sure we don't have any of the silly things, the selfish penalties and things like that. But yeah, I think we'll be a lot better with that going forward.
Awesome. Well, Coach, on the subject of penalties, me and the guys, we'll get into that. You guys get fined for that type of stuff, so we'll take care of that. We've got a couple of those issues to discuss, but we'll keep you clean here, and we'll let you go. But again, Bluefield State University in their first year back in the CIAA, they are currently 1-2, taking on Winston-Salem State University at Bowman Gray Stadium, 6 p.m. So they get to sleep in. They might even be able to roll out of bed at like 8 o'clock. I know you're a military guy, so you probably won't give them that much leeway. But congratulations to everything you guys got going on with the program, and let everybody know how that recruits or anybody can get it, or anybody who's interested in helping the program can get in touch with you guys.
Yeah, again, thanks again, and Stephen, thank you, man. From kind of the day we got this thing going, not too long after we got playing, you've been a great supporter of what we're doing and kind of help getting our brand out. And Big Ferg, same thing, man. I can't thank you guys enough for the support that you've given us throughout this whole process and let things go. Biggest thing with us, man, we recruit everywhere, and I'm on Twitter. You got the Big Blue _football. That's our main website. Our Twitter handle for our football page. I'm on there as Coach Coke 17. I think I'm the only Tony Coaxum on Twitter, or X, or whatever it's called now. So I'm easy to find when it comes to that. And all our coaching staff is on there. So you're interested and want to be a part of a Big Blue football and want to find out what we're about, don't hesitate to hit me up, hit any of our coaches up, or our webpage that we mentioned, our Twitter page. And like I said, man, we're excited for this weekend to get this thing going, and let's have some fun down there in Winston-Salem.
Awesome. We appreciate you, Coach, so much, and we'll see you on Saturday. I'll probably see you on Saturday, so appreciate it.
Sounds good. Y'all take care. Go Big Blue.
Okay, guys, gentlemen, appreciate it. The gang is all here now, so appreciate you guys for hopping on. Coach Coaxum, great as always. Let's get right into it, guys. We've got 3 weeks of football in the can. Week 3, everybody is pretty much playing conference opponents now. But I'm going to let both of you guys give out your takeaways from week 3. And it was some controversy, some heat. We'll get to that in just a minute, but let's save those to get some of your big takeaways. Kris, I'll let you take it away first. You give me yours, and then we'll go over to Kendrick.
My takeaways. Whew. Well, there's a lot to work through here. So some of the takeaways from week 3 that I had was that Shaw's got a lot of work to do, man. But on top of that, the South went 3-3. I thought that was great that the CIAA South went 3-3. That Wichita State and Fayetteville at the last second was like pretty awesome wins. Pretty awesome wins. I mean, it's very, very dramatic and what happened. So yeah. So I think that's a pretty big piece that there has been improvement in the South with the way things have kind of played out there. Really stand out. Also, Livingstone giving Virginia Union like the run that they did. I mean, they did put up some pretty big plays. They passed for over 300 yards. Nobody saw that coming. I mean, they did make them sweat at home. So I was very encouraged by that. And yeah, I mean, Malachi Langley at Lincoln still leading the country in receiving yards. I think that's also pretty awesome. So, John C. Smith, Fayetteville State, Winston State, all winners from the South against the North. That's probably the biggest takeaway.
I hear Virginia State may still be in Wake County in the red zone at Southeast High School. They might just wait till Friday to stop. I mean, they just kept coming. The CIAA football gods have not favored the Falcons of St. Augustine's University. I put Livingstone on that list the other day, but I mean, they played pretty well, like you said, against Virginia Union. They got to go on the road this week and face that monster in Ettrick, but we'll get there too. So Kendrick, in the SIAC, talk to me again. We almost had another SWAC upset, and I think I kind of know what you want to pull out on there. So let's wait to the end for that one. But yeah, go ahead and tell me tell me some of your takeaways from week 3.
I think coming out of week 3, Benedict just really put their stamp that they are for real, and they're not playing with anybody in this conference. And if you have them on your schedule, my God, all the best to you. At this point, it is all the best to you. They just can beat you a plethora of ways. And what they did to Lane was really intriguing to me. I had went into that game with a little bit of hope for Lane because I saw how well they moved the ball against Alabama A&M, actually having more yards than Alabama A&M. Able to move the ball through the air and move the ball on the ground a little bit, which is really not Lane's game. But turnovers just doomed them in that Alabama A&M game. But it didn't matter. It didn't matter against Benedict. Like, it was, -7 yards on the ground, 69 through the air, total domination. And it's like that Benedict team, defensive-wise, they might have a better defense than they had last year. Like, they're for real. I know a lot of people like, let's celebrate Lane for finally scoring. Yeah, when you fumble that deep, it's okay. It's like, all right. Yeah, but that didn't, whatever, y'all probably made them matter by scoring. So you probably should have just left that score off, dog. And like, yeah, get back. Because, it got ugly. Outside of that, with Tuskegee and Central State, I was proud of Tuskegee finding a way to win. With our quarterback being down, we actually experienced that last year. We started in Nettles, and then after Nettles, when they brought in Malik Davis, who actually won the game for us at Clark. So to bring him in, he's battle tested. So that gave me a little hope. I'm still a little concerned about us running the ball. I think we only was able to move the ball probably like 50, 60 yards against Central State. So I really want us to, shore up that running game because we're going to need it later on down the line in the season. Central State is still, Central State is man, they only have one win, but if you take them lightly, and not to just jump, but that game between them and Allen, yeah, that's probably gonna be a game. Probably should be the SIC game of the week next week, but Edward Waters, Fort Valley. I've said on a lot of shows, I want Fort Valley to stop playing with their food. Like, stop playing with your food. Like, you keep playing in these close games, you're going to get beat. You could have easily been beaten Saturday. If you want to be a championship caliber team, you have to stop playing with these teams like that. And now I know Edward Waters, they got some players back they didn't have, previously. So there's a lot to be said there. But Fort Valley, I don't understand. Like, I saw a couple of, clips of the film. They were beating Fort Valley. They were going max protection and beating Fort Valley 40, 50-yard pass. How are you max protecting and still getting beat on 40, 50-yard bombs down the field? Like, come on, Fort Valley. Like, yeah, man, listen. Fort Valley gives me I'm a Fort Valley fan, actually. Like, they stress me out.
Yeah, I was pretty high on them coming into the season. So yeah, I was talking about they might go undefeated, but clearly that's gone out the window. I think 8-2 was my worst. I think 8-2 or 7-3 was my worst case scenario for them. So
yeah, it's gonna be rough. I mean, I hate to just say this like this. I mean, but I can see the L on the schedule. They got Benedict on the schedule. I can see the L, man. But anyway, one game at a time. But who else? It was somebody else. Man, Clark, I'm so disappointed. I'm disappointed. Slater, I have nothing but love for you, but dog, you got to figure it out.
It seems like you're the only one that has any expectations of them, though.
I have expectations of Slater. I have expectations of him. And run the ball, dog. Like, Daquan, the running back for Clark, he was like the second best rusher last season. You can run. Like, when they decided to run the ball, they were beating Savannah State. Then all of a sudden they just want to sling the ball around. Like, wait, run the ball. Like, that was not your problem at Tuskegee. They were telling you to pass the ball. Now they want you to run the ball, man. Run the ball. God, I'm so disappointed. I hate to see the Great go out like that. Like, they might be an 0-10 team this year. Like, if you couldn't pull out the win against Savannah State, like, who else on your schedule you gonna beat? I mean, them and Morehouse might enter the season 0-9, and then somebody will finally get a win. And I ain't convinced it's gonna be Clark. So I don't know.
Is Benedict on their schedule?
Yes, like Clark goes.
They're not scoring against Benedict.
Right. I mean, they have Miles.
Do we even need to bring the offense on the bus? Do we even need to bring the offense on the bus? So look, man, I got to do this because it happened. It came into play from last week. Hey, some of us, man, look, man. Talk to me about this game, man. Talk to me about why Allen was how you motivated the troops.
Wait, can you see my background? University. Can you tell what my background is? I hope my Tuskegee don't come out. It's probably hard to see it with the one. But anyway, it's a yellow jacket riding a horse. And see how Tuskegee just come through anyway? But anyway, okay, there we go. It's supposedly a yellow jacket riding a horse. So let me say this about Allen. They tagged me in the post. First off, we're doing the SIAC recap. Let me just go back to that. I had checked the score. It was 30-7. I'm like, yes, another year. So I'm in the SIAC recap saying, woo, finally one of my picks, went through and we talking, we saying, Allen, it probably just a play away. We'll look at the film and see what happened. a lady came in. She came into the space and she said, "Hey, I think you need to check your DM." So I checked my DM. She sent me the little final score. I saw that Allen came back and won. I was like, "Hold, cut the tape, cut it," because I already knew what was going on, you know. But you talking about a team that just knows how to fight, and everything, all the little back and forth and the little banter, I appreciate it. I thought it was fun. Like I take all that in stride, because to celebrate a team that and I know they have good people around that program, they're pouring into that program, they want to see that program. Like, you can't help but to be happy for them in that, like, to be happy that they got that win, knowing that they worked hard when they built that practice facility. One of the things that Coach Keaton said, we didn't build this to lose, and so to see that, to know his work around Stillman and, everything that he did, like, you have to be happy for him. I'm happy for that program. I'm happy for A.D. Cox up there. They just got the win, and clear they have the talent. The question was, would their defense be more improved? You'll look at that score and you'll say, well, Kentucky State was able to score, but then when you go back and look at the defense only gave up one touchdown, you like, oh, wait. They got some other areas to shore up on the special teams and turnovers, stuff like that. But the defense is much improved. If they were able to hold that passing attack, pretty much in check for Kentucky State. So as I said, I was gonna move them up to my top 5, and it was hard. I mean, I'm gonna tell you, it was still hard to move them to my top 5 because after seeing Central State with my own 2 eyes, it was hard to move Central State and put Central State at 6. But wins count. You see, like, wins count, and so we'll see. They match up this Saturday, so I mean, we gonna see, and I expect some fireworks, man.
I just want to say, David Wright III, passing yards per game, first nationwide, passing 411 yards on Saturday, number 1 in the country right now, passing yards per game. I mean, that's awesome. That's remarkable. I mean, we haven't seen like an HBCU quarterback at the Division II level leading that stat since Amir Hall, Bowie State. I mean, so to even be at that point, 2 games in is pretty darn awesome. So I just kind of want to throw that out, show Allen some love there, because they have been kind of in the making for them, the way that they have improved year over year, and now they're going to continue to hopefully shock some people along the way. Sky's the limit for them.
I want them to know they ain't sneaking up on nobody else, because everybody is on notice. I told you, like, it was last season. I had heard all the talk about David Wright, but I had never laid eyes on him myself. They come down to Montgomery, and I see this dude. I'm like, yeah, okay, okay. Like, he's that deal. There was a lot of talk about when about Kelvin Durham, and people ask me all the time, like, who's the best quarterback in the SIAC? I say, I respect, Kelvin Durham winning that title. Like, you can't take that away from him. Like, Kelvin Durham, he is a quarterback. He can spin the ball. David Wright, I mean, last season, great. This season, he's on a whole nother level. One of the things that I talked about early on the season was, like, could they keep David Wright upright? And just that staff putting together a game plan, developing guys to put guys around him to protect him, to know that their offense goes through David Wright. Like, I mean, you just have to respect what they're doing over at Allen. Like, yeah, and it is what it is. Like, he can slice you. He can slice you. He's elusive. You got your hands full with him, You have your hands full with him. And, yeah. And I meant that game between them and Central State Saturday is gonna be a good one. And I can't pick against them twice. So I can't pick against them. So y'all already know who I'm going with, Central State and Allen. But it's gonna be a good one though. But just congratulations to Coach Keaton and that whole staff over there.
Yeah, you don't want to end up on that Summer Jam screen back-to-back weeks because they definitely put you on it. Okay, so we talked about it a little bit. Kendrick, this will be on to you. So you wanted to talk about Amir Hall, the legend, the surgeon, all of that. Greatest quarterback in CIAA football history. Go ahead and put that out there. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. Kendrick gonna have to tell me. Maybe in D2 HBCU history. I don't know. Yes, Amir Hall, the legend. Yes. Okay, sir. We got another vote for right. If you guys want to let us know in the chat who you think is the better quarterback right now today, is it Durham? Is it Mr. Wright? You guys let us know in the chat. I'll be interested to see. Maybe we'll get a chance to tally those up. But in the meantime, Kendrick, there was a game, right? There's Miles College after knocking off Alabama State the week before, nearly came away with another win against the SWAC. But that was not to be. And there was something that you wanted to highlight. And you want to lead us into this, and then I'll roll the clip.
Yeah. So, let me preface that by saying I have a problem with the call. However, Miles has nobody to blame but themselves. 2 missed field goals, missed opportunity in the red zone, chance after chance. You beat yourself. Okay. And I don't say that lightly because I don't normally say that. You beat yourself. You shot yourself in the foot. You shouldn't have been in that predicament anyway. However, on this score, now, there are people who would disagree with this clip that you're about to show because by the letter of the law, the letter of the rule states if any part of the player's body, okay, is that far downfield, it's a flag. But maybe in game time, you may miss it.
Man wide open. And the catch
but
is made by number 1, John
clearly,
Andrews,
he was falling coming off a block. That RPO blocking, maybe the quarterback could have got the ball out of his hand faster, blah, 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 blah. He was falling off a block. I don't think that close of a game that time you throw that flag, but hey, it is what it is. And we're talking about the center.
Fake play action, man wide open. And the catch is made by number 1, John Andrews.
He's gonna score.
And he scores.
He's gonna score.
No flags on the play that I see. Wait a minute, there's something.
I don't like that call.
I don't. It's bad. I mean, and they're calling it on the center. Now, when I was watching it live, I know they went at first. They thought they were calling it on the tight end, but there's nobody line. Like he can go like that, so you can't be calling on him. So then when they say they called on the center, I'm like, but he literally rolled because of a falling off a block. Like there's another offensive lineman falling directly on his leg. So I thought that was a trash call. It was another call that happened last year when Lane played them, and almost beat them. So it's like, yeah, you got to go up there. But once again, Miles, you have nobody to blame but yourself. Get yourself back together. Let it go. It is what it is. You went 1-1 against the SWAC. They already know. Like UAPB, they already know what was up with that game. Y'all can line up again against them again and still beat them. You have Clark this weekend. Make a statement. Make a statement, to justify me saying that y'all the number 2 team in D2. Like, justify it. I need a 40-point win. Actually, I need a 50-point win. I need y'all to put 50 on Clark. That's what I need y'all to do.
Can't say Miles by 40.
I just love how it just keep coming through on that. Yeah.
Right.
Well, Kris and I were at the same game this week. I didn't know that was going to happen. He did, obviously. First person I see when I walk once I get my credentials, shout out to the WSSU SID, Miss Eris, is Kris. And so we got a chance to check out Winston-Salem State, Elizabeth City State, a game that was very, very intense, shall we say. Backyard brawlish, shall we say. The Teachers Classic, the the Teachers College Classic was anything less than congenial. Kris, what were your thoughts on the game and we'll just put it out there, the situation that took place on the sidelines?
Man, this game was really, really intense. I mean, the way that both teams kind of came into this thing, you know, a lot of chippiness back and forth. You know, we start having a running joke in the press box about how penalties get called against both teams at the same time, offsetting penalties, one on each team. I mean, it was a lot. I mean, it was just so much. And, you know, quite frankly, I was a little bit surprised that would be the case. You know, Elizabeth City is definitely, you know, rather disciplined a lot of times. So it was very kind of uncharacteristic of them. It felt like, you know, Winston State was playing at home for the first time this season. So, you know, it's just one of those things where it was very unexpected. And I think the way that like Winston was able to like assert themselves early on kind of just fueled it. I mean, I know we had the incident where Trevor Willard started really hot on defense and then he got hurt on a questionable call. But you know, even beyond that, it was just the way that like the defense was just really going after that offensive line, and it just kept going up, ramping up. Winston player got ejected from the game for throwing a punch. You know, it was just so much intensity, and you know they didn't shake hands after the game for good reason, because of kind of what happened. And you know that was even as Winston was starting to pull away. I mean, Elizabeth City got close 10-7, but you know Winston did something that we don't normally see out of them unless they're playing like a St. Aug or something. And I mean, they put up 2 straight scores, and that salted the game away. I mean, it was just they really asserted themselves in that game. Yeah, so chippiness like that, I mean, it's not great to see. I know, you know, football can be a very intense sport, and you know everybody is throwing you know everything they got into the game. But you know, this is not the same Winston State that was last year, where Elizabeth City, you know, was able to get wins. This is not the same team like from last year.
Yeah, I think coming in, you know, last couple of years, it's, you know, they've been able to, as a defense, you've been able to kind of come in there and intimidate them, hit them in the mouth a couple of times, and then they just kind of fall apart. Breaking the Bulldogs, you know, hey, you know, there's an undefeated team in the CIAA, and it's not Bowie State. CIAA North. But anyway, we'll get to that. Somebody from the South is going. So
yeah, right.
But anyway, so talking about that, I did get a chance so basically at the end of the game, again, there were 10 penalties that were assessed, personal fouls. Very heated game. I was there as well on the sidelines. We also have a clip. I did speak because Winston-Salem State head coach Robert Massey says he actually submitted 6 plays to the CIAA that he felt were dirty in terms of how they came off. And so, you know, so I was able to talk. I wanted to make sure, you know, again, we got both sides of the story. So I did reach out to Coach Hilliard over at Elizabeth City State, and he talked to me a little bit about the situation. We'll play a little bit of that just so everybody can hear from Coach whenever Kobe can strike it up. We'll have that. But yeah.
To let them guys know that we don't do that here at Elizabeth City.
So we'll run that back.
You know, it's football. You know, things happen, and praying for the young man and his recovery. And hopefully he's not out for the rest of the season. But, you know, it was just unfortunate his leg got caught. You know, it wasn't an illegal block. And, you know, I'm not sure the other 5 plays, but we definitely got plays, too, that could be questionable. questionable as well. But we've moved on, and I just don't want the notion to be out, or anybody to say that my team is dirty or you got to look out for us. We took him out some serious, but we reprimanded him on the spot, and then once I saw it on film, they got dealt with. We condone that we don't condone that,
right?
But it was not what it was not.
The celebration is what you're. It was what you're right.
Yes, I don't condone that. It was not a dirty play. The celebration is what I harped on, and to let them guys know that we don't do that here at Elizabeth City.
So that was Coach Hilliard of Elizabeth City State responding to the claims that his team was played dirty, and the coach Massey to the Winston-Salem Journal's John Dell did mention that play where Willard, he was very dominant. I was on the sidelines, number 27. I got the photo of him earlier. It looked to me like he was kind of at the knees of the guys. I talked to some guys who are more football savvy than me and know more about the rules, and they weren't necessarily pleased with it. But, he did say that, again, he wanted to make sure that folks know that his team was not dirty. He defended himself against those allegations, as well as he did say that the young man that celebrated the injury, because that was there, that was audible. Nobody's debating that because everybody who was on the sideline could hear it. And there's not really any place for that in the game. And he did say that he was reprimanded, and he took a couple series off as well. So, again, we had the big thing in Colorado this week about, obviously what happened with Travis Hunter, and everybody's talking about that. But, got to protect the players. I'll give either of you guys, if you guys want to speak on just protecting the players and the referees. They did call 10 personal fouls, but I felt early on there was some plays where they kind of really didn't set the tone, and it kind of got out of hand.
No, they didn't. I mean, it was just it was very chippy, very, very intense early on, and so they didn't. Look, the tight end in question, he's like 5'10", 210. Trevor Willard, he's 6'5", 225. So he's got a lot more size on the blocker there. And so, one of the typical techniques is to go low to try to knock him down that way. And, it's one of those, it's unfortunate because, he's not going really doesn't seem like he's going below the knee, but, it's so close and leading with the helmet like that. You're just kind of in a situation that could spawn an injury. It was an advantage that, Winston State, they definitely exploited early and exploited very well. But it's just an unfortunate injury. He's going to be out, at least a month, if not longer, depending on how things really shape up. So it's a big loss. It's a big loss for Winston State.
Coach Massey said at least a month, but maybe the entire season.
Yeah.
And I think I think after that things really kind of shifted. Just the mood of the game. Even I can recall I think maybe the last touchdown where they were driving and it was a goal line at the 1 yard line, and the two guys almost got into a fight. Right there. Luckily the Winston-Salem State sideline kind of broke it up and things like that. Obviously everybody loves intensity, and they say the CIAA is a basketball league. But the football is intense, and it really went there. I see you chuckling over there a little bit, Kendrick. It's all good. So anyway, we got a lot of chatter in the quote, so we'll talk about that, and then we'll look towards this week. Bring down the Bulldogs. Amir Jenkins is best right now. The running game gets going, and it's over. What do you guys think? I saw Bowie State on HBCU Go earlier this week playing against a Shaw defense that, Benedict did a lot more. Virginia Union, not so much. But, I mean, if you're looking at Benedict as the standard, Benedict put a lot more points on them. What did you think offensively about Bowie State? Kris, you've seen them in person, I believe. So just talk to me about their offense and is Amir Jenkins? Is he the best quarterback in the CIAA? Or maybe is it the guy from Lincoln? What are your thoughts?
All right, so Bowie State's like kind of going back to, I would say, like the 2018 year of Amir Hall, where they did lots and lots and lots of passing, and they had to do that in order to offset what was a pretty unproductive run game. I mean, that's kind of what you have right now out of Bowie State, that they don't run the ball particularly well. That really hurts them when they get inside the 20s, inside the red zone. So, my takeaway, is that Bowie can certainly has a relatively high ceiling when they're clicking. I think, they did lose, a couple of productive wide receivers and the timing and everything with Amir Jenkins as a first year starter. It takes time, but I think they're ahead of schedule in that regard. But is Amir Jenkins the best quarterback in the CIAA? And I don't think so. I think that's Isaiah Freeman at Lincoln. I think he is the best quarterback in the conference right now. I mean, the way that Freeman has played and has really, in his second year, really directed that Lincoln offense the way he has with his legs and with his arm really matters. I mean, that's like the prototypical way that a CIAA quarterback really makes their mark in the conference is a combination of passing and rushing when necessary. Something I wish that Lincoln, no, I'm sorry, Amir Jenkins would do a little bit more of is maybe run a little bit more. I know that's probably not his preference, but it seems like it really kind of keeps defenses on their heels a little bit when he's a little bit more mobile. So yeah, I mean, I think Lincoln probably has the best quarterback. I think Bowie certainly is the better team. But the way that he has injected life into Lincoln to make them exciting as they are is a huge deal.
Yeah, well, so you said the magic words. You said Lincoln University. So I am going to bring on, he's our producer of the show, but he's also part of the HBCU Game Day family, does great video work, and he is our North plug. Now, he is a Cheney man, but since they don't have a football program, they're kind of the closest thing he's got to them. So we're going to bring him on and let him talk a little bit about what he thinks about the CIAA North really quickly. So, Kobe, what's up, man? Kobe, you're muted, see?
I didn't mute myself. That's over there doing two jobs at once. But no, the CIAA is an interesting place in the North, and I don't think people really understand how much we love football and how much we come out for football. Lincoln is building something special up there. I think they're creating a lot of the competitive energy. If you look at how they play football, they play until the end of the game. They fight and fight and fight. They should have beat Clarion. Well, let me take that back. If they wouldn't have dug themselves a hole, I think they would have beat Clarion. Or their field was a little brighter. That's another story. But I love what the coach is doing. I see how he's bringing people in. And he's also, if you ever go to a practice, they compete. And that energy is there, and it translates definitely on the field. And Isaiah Freeman is definitely the alpha on that offense. And I would beg to argue on the team. And so you see that in the team. He has a lot of heart. And the thing I love about Isaiah Freeman is he's an amazing kid. I don't know. I've got to sit down and interview him twice. And he's a kid that I would like my son to look at as far as how he conducts himself and how he carries himself off the field also. Now, what is interesting is Virginia Union. Their defense is stout. We still have questions about Jada Byers, but I don't think they have questions at running back. Like they have the best offensive line and some of the best running backs, I think. We'd be talking about, I can't remember his name, 5. We'd be talking about him right now if Jada Byers wasn't playing for Virginia Union.
Rashard Jackson.
Yes, he is phenomenal. He's quick, he's elusive, and he runs with a lot of power. He runs what they say behind his pads. And I love to see that. And you're right. I forget the name. They beat a team that had a weird name. That's all I can remember. Had a long, weird name. But Virginia Union, if they get it going, and I like what Coach Parker's down there doing down there. Fun fact: I played against Coach Parker when Chaney played Virginia Union, but that's another story. But the team that intrigues me the most is we all know that Bowie is good, right? But what happens when they can move the ball on the ground? That's what I want to see because their defense plays lights out. What was it? What's the running back from Shaw? 25.
Sidney Gibbs.
You see him, he has flashes. Like you see him in the game against Bowie, you will see a flash here, a flash there, and then they put that out very quickly. So, like that's the team I want to see what happens when they get rolling. And that's why I'm so intrigued. But the team that has me tuned in, the team that has me really tuned in the most is Virginia State. Now, I want you to think about this. This is one thing I said, and some people haven't made this connection yet, but this is one thing I truly want you to think about when you think about coaches, coaching tree, and legacies, right? On the same day, Virginia State coach Henry Frazier, who won a Virginia State beat Norfolk, Morgan State, who Wilson was hired by Frazier, right? Beats Richmond, and then you have Bowie beat Dell State, and Kyle Jackson was hired by Wilson, which is a phenomenal coaching tree, and had all those wins on the same day. Think about that legacy right there, and what's all underneath of that. And so when you talk about Virginia State, so Frazier turned around Bowie as a quarterback when they were in the toilet when he went to Bowie. He turned them around as a quarterback. He turned around. He was starting to get with Central until all other stuff happened. He went down and won the SWAC title. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not as good on my facts with you guys. And now, for no other reason, he's sitting at Virginia State, and look what they're doing right now. Or do we call them Norfolk West? But that's another story.
Those fighting words.
But think about that,
big
man.
State is big state. Norfolk State was a division of Virginia State. So Norfolk State is Virginia State East.
Okay.
We'll roll with it on it. But yeah, great points, Cole. I appreciate you for hopping on. Since we got into the North, the producer all in the videos, dancing. Nah, man. I appreciate you, man, because you hold it down for the North up there, SIAC and the CIAA as well. So yeah, any parting words? Okay, you parted without any words. I got you. No worries. We'll bring Kendrick back in as we are looking. We'll go ahead and start looking ahead to next week really quickly, and so we won't run this too long. I will do my normal thing and go through the FCS Reddit lines, and we got to start keeping up with these to see how accurate they are. So first off, the first one we've got Albany State versus Savannah State. Albany State is favored in this game, 7.5 points. The over/under is 41. Kendrick, what do you think?
41 points. Well, I meant Savannah State defense is trash. With it, okay. Yeah. So give me Albany State on that one. But wait, before you do that, it was somebody that put in that chat. It says who has more playoffs wins when we say about the CIAA being a basketball championship team. I think it was that breaking down the Bulldogs.
Yes.
Now
that's just because they forgot how to play. That's just because they forgot how to play basketball in Bowie. North Carolina's got it. Anyway, go ahead.
Now, don't get me wrong. All our wins in this decade have come from one team in the playoff. Okay. They've come from one team in the playoff, and that's Ski. However, I think we got 3 or 4 wins in the playoffs, and I think that's a combined total because if we talking about decades, that 2013 to 2023, I think we have more, dog. But they just came from one. Y'all got more teams in the playoffs, because I know Virginia State has one. Virginia State beat West Georgia. Not West Georgia. They beat somebody.
They beat LIU Post.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then Winston-Salem has one in this decade. How many does Bowie State have in this decade?
Bowie has they beat 2 in 2018.
Okay.
And so then they got what was it, like a couple years later, they ended up getting like another like 2. I want to say
Lenore-Rhine. Someone's beating Lenore-Rhine.
That was Bowie State. They beat Lenore-Rhine, and then they beat who was it that year? Oh gosh, made me think hard now. Newberry. I think it was Newberry that they beat because they beat the runner-up and they beat the champion that year in the SIAC.
Breaking down the Bulldogs, we gonna give you an accurate count now. If we're even close, I know Tuskegee been carrying the SIAC. And I'm gonna talk my talk about this conference. This out of this playoff talk. But all our wins, it don't matter because as long as Skiggy was winning the playoffs, we ain't in the playoffs no more. So everybody else got to step their game up. But hey,
Yeah. So
that's right. Y'all did beat West Alabama. Okay, y'all got more.
Yeah, West Alabama.
Y'all got 4. Hey, SIAC, man, y'all gotta get y'all stuff together, dog.
We got 5.
Get your stuff together, and they trying to make it easy on us that that all the conferences be represented now. So we'll probably get 1 from the SIAC and 1 from the CIAA now. Won't be two of y'all getting in while we don't get any in. But hey, it is what it is now.
Hey, I'm glad the North caught up because I think it was 2001 to 2013. All the champions came from North Carolina, so it's evened out. It's worked. It's been reversed now. So here we go. We want to so we got the first line. All right, now this one is this would normally okay. So all right, whoa. Allen at Central State. Guess who's favorite?
Central.
I would say Central. Yeah.
Central State is favorite, a 4.5-point favorite. Over under is 59.
Okay. Yeah. Let me.
I mean, it's similar on Massey here. Like they're pretty even on Massey, and Central State being the home team gets a little bit of the edge here.
Now, my only thing I'm going to say, Central State defense is better than Kentucky State's defense up front because, and I just want to shout out the two of the linebackers for Central State. I don't think they get enough talk. Jaleel Lenore and. Oh man, now why can't I think of his name? Number 0. Like, don't hold it against me, dog. Your name's just not coming to me. Those are dogs. I tell you what, Allen, you better block that backside. Because you don't block that backside, he coming. Okay? It's number 0, he's coming. So y'all circle that on your board. You got to make sure because we just stopped blocking the backside and my God, he ate us alive. So y'all make sure y'all handle that if y'all want to win.
Okay. So we've got this would be a CIAA SIC matchup, but those folks in Murfreesboro kicked them to the curb. Chowan is no longer in the CIAA. So we've got Benedict is a 23-point favorite over Chowan. Over under is 54. How we feel about that, guys?
I want 60. I want 60 on them, Benedict. It's time for okay. So I've been saying this. Benedict seems to be better than they were last year. One of the things Coach Bear said about the playoffs was that they had to learn. I think all of our schools, when they go in the playoffs for the first time, Tuskegee had to experience that. You learn really quick. Like it is a learning curve. Although Tuskegee only lost by 3, they first 2 tries in the playoffs. Let's be very clear, okay? But that's because we had a championship winning coach in Division 2. All right? Benedict, they need to learn. However, I need them to make a statement. Like, beat them boys by 60. Let them know that y'all not coming to play. I need 60. Y'all almost got 60 on lane. Don't get out of conference and then start, I don't know, like we just get shell shocked. No, I need that same dominant performance that you put on Lane, that you put on Edward Waters, that you put on Shaw. Take it to them boys. I need 60. I'm not going to be satisfied if they don't get 60. I want 60.
Okay. Bluefield State visits Bowman Gray Stadium. The Rams are an 11.5-point favorite, and the over-under is 47. Kris, talk to me.
I like it. I think Winston's going to win that game.
I'm going to let you say it. I'm not going to jinx it. But I think it's going to be, I don't disagree. Let's see. We got Clark Atlanta at Miles. Miles is a 24.5-point favorite, and the over-under is 51.
Miles better give me 40. I need 40 on the clock. Like, listen, it's time. It's separation Saturday. Okay, separation Saturday. I'm claiming that. Separation Saturday. Miles, you will be the clearly superior team on Saturday. Okay. Listen, I had hope for Clark. I rooted for Clark. I ain't got time for Clark no more. Clark should have won that game Saturday. They ain't win that game. I don't care. Miles, prove to everybody why I keep saying that you should be number 2. Now, I also say that Virginia State should be number 2, but that's neither here nor there. I need you to put 40 on Clark. I don't need Clark to score. There's no reason that Clark should score on Miles. Come in, be the dominant team that you should be, and get ready for the showdown of the undefeated in D2 when Tuskegee get there and when we get there November the 4th. Like, come on now. Handle business. Oh, and the DB for Central State is Dominique Davis. Yeah, dog. You was a dog Saturday.
Okay. All right. So next up, Fayetteville State at Virginia Union. This was a close one last year. Virginia Union is an 8.5-point favorite. After last week, Kris, what do we know about this game? Virginia Union ran for 300 yards and they almost lost to Livingstone. Lincoln, they almost lost to Livingstone.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
same
but
Livingstone that got stomped by Bluefield State. No disrespect. And then Fayetteville State, we've talked about them. I told you that offense. I mean, I know a new offensive coordinator, all of that other stuff. And they almost lost to Lincoln. And we almost had an LC and an LU victory. Talk to me, Kris. Tell me, make some sense of what we think we're going to see in this Douglas Wilder Classic. The floor is yours. I'm taking Kendrick and myself.
well, what I would say to that is that this game has a little bit of luster off of it right now because of where Fayetteville is, but at the same time, they played a very challenging non-conference schedule. Virginia Union isn't the same team as they have been in prior, like last year for sure. They're not as strong in the passing game. They're just like adequate right now, but they're improving. And it's the same with Fayetteville State. And the one thing about Fayetteville State is they never quit. That's a team that we have over the last few years have always said, how are they going to score points? How are they going to get there? Oh, they're dead in the water, and they find a way to get it done. And so count out Fayetteville State if you want to at your own peril. With that being said, though, I think this will be a close game. I think that Virginia Union playing at home is an advantage here. And I think that they're probably the more complete team than Fayetteville State is right now. So I have the Panthers in this one, but it will not be easy at all for them against a Fayetteville State team that always seems to find a way to make things interesting.
Yeah. So we'll see. Again, no Jada Byers. I mean, they didn't have any drop off, last week. But hopefully hope to see that young man get back again soon. So Fort Valley State, Kentucky State. Fort Valley State is a 7.5-point favorite. Kendrick, we know Fort Valley's been, as you say, playing with their food. What are you seeing with the Tigers versus the Thoroughbreds?
Shout out to my dog Randall. Randall said that I must be a Fort Valley fan because I got more passion for it than him. But I tell you what, I just want that Fort Valley Tuskegee rematch in the championship game, and I just need Fort Valley to come on and grow up. Stop playing with us. Stop playing with us. You got one of the best defensive lines in the conference. Beat Kentucky State. I mean, beat Kentucky State. Stop playing, dog. Like, I need a 40-10, 40-17 win like you beat Clark. Put Clark in Kentucky State. Let's separate the conference now, okay? I'm old school SIAC. Back when it was the big three, when it was nobody but Tuskegee, Albany State, Fort Valley. Get back to, come on now, play Fort Valley football. Stop playing with them boys. Beat them boys and them boys. I don't know whether y'all up there or they down there, but however it is, go up there and whoop them folks and be through with this. Stop playing. We need to separate the bottom half of the conference from the top half of the conference. And I need Fort Valley to win, I'm going to say 35-10. If they give me 35-10, I'll be satisfied.
Separate the wheat from the chaff, I believe, is the for the Bible for the Bible quote.
Gosh.
So let's see. So we got in the CIAA, Johnson C. Smith is hitting the road and heading all the way up to the metropolis of Lincoln, Pennsylvania.
Well,
Kris?
I mean, this is a really interesting game for both schools because here you got, two quarterbacks that could really sling the ball, and Tyrell Jackson and Isaiah Freeman for John C. Smith and Lincoln. JCSU has a slightly more productive run game, but then you've got Lincoln that probably is a little bit more effective in the passing game. There's some edges to kind of think about here. If you think about what happened last week, JCSU had 2 block punts. And I think that special teams is probably a little bit more of an edge for the Golden Bulls. Defense, they're probably a little bit better too. So I think that this is going to be really, really interesting to see what really stands out here, a more dynamic quarterback or a defense that's able to corral him in and sort of key in and hope that JCSU doesn't have a lot of turnovers because they are prone to do that. Oh, goodness, they are prone to do that.
Oh, so Damon says this is the game of the week in the CIAA. The last days are upon us.
No, that's Fayetteville State in Virginia Union. I mean, come on. It's a great second option. It's a great second option.
The chaos game of the most unpredictable, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, we have. Let's see. We'll stay. No. We've got Lane at Tuskegee. Lane is a 16.5-point underdog. Is that enough for you? Will 16.5 points suffice, Kendrick? Will that satisfy your bloodlust?
It won't. I told you what my motto is: separate the weak from the strong. Okay. The last time Lane bought them Dragons came to Cleve Abbott Memorial Stadium, they beat Tuskegee for the first time in history. Now, when my grandma used to whoop me, she used to say, I'm gonna whoop you for old and new. Tuskegee needs to whoop Lane for old and new. Now, will our quarterback be back healthy? You know what? We can't use it as an excuse. Our quarterbacks are battle tested. Next man up. I need them same 50 points that Benedict put up. But we averaging, I'll say, to be honest with you, probably about, I want like a 35-6. 35-6. I mean, I don't want no close games Saturday. We had enough close games. Throw that away. I want total domination of teams that you should be. Show me that you're championship quality team. Show me that you are a championship caliber team Saturday. Come on, establish the run. You couldn't get the running game going last week against Central State. You got a little bit easier test with it. Now, shout out to Coach Tommy. He was our defensive line coach last year. He's now defensive coordinator at Tuskegee. So, that's going to be a little, how that go when they hire coaches. So I expect for him to do well. And he got to go through his lumps and bruises. They're young, but hey, be Skeegee. Be Skeegee. Wrap these boys up by halftime. That's what I want. Wrap these boys up by halftime.
Oh man, Kendrick, you kind of took me somewhere, man, with that domination stuff, man. This is
what? This your shortest fight ever? In any time, amateur, professional.
Assalamu alaikum, Ida.
You had to pull this one out, man.
I don't know, man. Yeah, Lennox Lewis. Lennox, I'm coming for you.
Mike, is it frustrating to train like you did and then have this in 7 or 8 seconds?
For this fight, I only trained probably 2 weeks or 3 weeks for this fight. I had to bury my best friend, and I dedicated this fight. I wasn't going to fight. I dedicated this fight to him. I was going to rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Lynch is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody as ruthless. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children. Praise be to Allah.
Are you saying now, Mike?
Let's go.
Yeah, you kind of gave me those vibes. So.
That is on cue.
But you know what? Hey, man, I mean, we have so far right now, we got 4 teams that could be really dominant. I mean, really strong, 4 strong teams in the company. 5, if Allen beats Central State, I'm going to start being really concerned. Okay, I'm going to start getting concerned. I'm going to get concerned. I got them beaten, but I'm talking about
you, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be concerned, but I'm gonna talk about the Big 4 for a second.
Now, who is the big? Who for those of us who are not initiated? Please tell us who are the Big 4.
Okay, the Big 4. First off, Benedict is in a class by themselves, and I don't mind saying that out in the open. Benedict is here. Okay, they are the kings. They sit on the throne. That's when I post that picture of them. I wish I had time to go back and show y'all like Benedict sitting on the throne. That's where they are. They walk into your trap, take over your trap. Them boys not playing. Then over here, you got these 3 that's fighting to be able to take on the kings over here. You got Miles that went there and smacked Bama State in their mouth. You got Miles, they beat Lane. You got Miles that should have smacked Pine Bluff in their mouth, but now they back into Division II play. So we're going to see how they do. Then you got Fort Valley. I thought that people were playing on their time at the preseason, putting them at 4 behind Albany State. And I saw that little post that somebody said Albany State ain't got nothing to say about the SIAC championship this year. If they get to 500, bless their heart. Like, that's what they working on. It would be a good season for them. But they ain't got no say in the SIAC championship, okay? Fort Valley, then you got Skeegee, okay? Those are the other 3. And I need one of them 3 to start saying, all right, I want to be dominant, because you got Benedict over here just dominating and beating down everybody in their path. I'm talking about ain't leaving no meat on the bone, nothing, just crucifying teams. I need one of these three over here to start showing me that, hey, we can challenge the Kings over here. So I need them to stop playing with these teams that's going to be at the bottom half of the conference.
Well, there we have it.
And don't get mad at me, Albany State people. Y'all see y'all team.
Who's the most sensitive fan base in the SIAC?
Probably Tuskegee. They just ain't on Twitter, but it's probably Tuskegee. They sensitive. Like, we feel like we supposed to win every time, every game. You know, when somebody said y'all were the Dallas Cowboys of the CIAA, we probably the Dallas Cowboys of the SIAC. If people say that, like, I meant what we had.
We've won we've won in this millennium. Thank you.
You know, I remember when the first time Slater lost to Steelman, it was like 2011 or something. They were literally running behind the president truck saying, get rid of him, fire him. I mean, this man that only lost like 4 conference games in his career. Like, get rid of the man. It was like one of the worst things I had ever seen before in my life. I was like, wait, what? Come on now. But it is what it is.
Okay, there we go. I don't know how I follow that in eating children, but here we go. So next up on the docket, Livingstone College. They will hit the road and go up to Ettrick. The 804. They are a 30-point underdog, and the over-under is 53. Kris, can Livingstone keep the second of the 3 Axis CIAA powers of the North at bay and keep it respectable on the road?
Man, first of all, I don't know how I'm supposed to follow up that whole soliloquy we just heard. So, I mean, I was like, man, he's going to go to a CIAA school after this. And I don't know how to follow up with that. Anywho, man, Livingstone. I don't really know what to make of Livingstone right now. I mean, what we kind of saw out of them against Virginia Union, if they try that again, I think that's going to make things really, really interesting. But you know, Virginia State's rolling right now, and I think that, you know, they're probably feeling a little bit of disrespect, you know, especially in polls and stuff like that. You know, if you think Virginia State, you know, should be top 25, then you probably feel some disrespect right now, being 3-0 and you know, not really receiving a lot of votes or anything. So, you know, this is one of those games that I think, you know, if you can get to 5-0, people start really taking notice nationwide, and I think it might be an indication that VSU is back. So yeah, I think that Virginia State's going to go and they're gonna take this game by, you know, multiple points. Will they win by 50? I don't know on that one. I think, you know, probably in the 30 range might be a little bit more reasonable. I don't know if I want to go out that far. Yeah, I think it'll be in the 30s that they win. I don't think Livingstone's going to go down that easily. So yeah.
We know anything about Livingstone, that won't go down without a fight. So there's that. Next up, Morehouse at Edward Waters. Somebody's got to win this game. Kendrick, talk to me. Morehouse is 4.5 points, man. Talk to us.
Hold on, I had to fix my background 1 second. I had to put the Kings behind me. I had to put the Benedict behind me. Yeah, I mean, Morehouse, Edward Waters. Let's just give it to Edward Waters. You know, what Edward Waters was able to do to Fort Valley. God, Fort Valley, stop playing on my time. But you know, Edward Waters, they getting it together. You know, I have faith in their coaching staff. Morehouse, y'all let me down. I was rooting for y'all against Albany State. Y'all, you know, maybe it's just not, you know, it ain't your year. You know, you got a new coach, y'all trying to get it together. I really think y'all going to go into that battle of the AU AUC, whatever y'all call it, 0-9, and y'all get y'all first win then. But yeah, y'all gonna take a L Saturday, but it's okay. You're gonna take that L. It's all right.
So, from the board, it was said this is, I don't know if this was for public consumption, but since we're here, since he's already been on, you know what? Let's bring Kobe back in because Kobe's got something to say about Morehouse. You know what, Kobe? Here you go. As a neutral part, you've seen Morehouse in action. Talk to us about that experience and how you're recovering.
Well, I felt like when they walked out, I could have played for Morehouse. Right at that time, I was bigger than a few of their players. So I just feel like, I mean, every time they've been on this world tour and they're getting beat, I don't know how that helps their national, what do you say, how their look is nationally, and they're getting blown out. So the only thing that I'm concerned about with Morehouse, why I don't see them winning, is because they're getting demoralized. These aren't like games that they're just winning close ones or anything. I mean, these are 40-0. And I think, what was the last game they got beat? Goddamn to 7. So
talking about when they play Howard.
Yeah. So I don't know how you recover from like their defense has given up over 100 points in 3 games.
But I will say this, having talked to Coach Wiltshire on my own show, he seems to have this understanding that they're trying to build a culture at Morehouse. And there may be a lot of talent on that roster that can play for him now that they're just developing because they know that they're looking more towards the future. He was very understanding of the role of the task they had. I mean, he came on the show and he was like, our motto is just going to be anywhere, anytime. And so, I mean, it's been a rough schedule for them. Rough. Mm-hmm. And then getting hired late, it's just one of those things. Look how long it took them to even bring him, to the program. So I think it's just one of those years, man, that they just going to have to ride it. But I mean, they were in this place last year. You see what I'm saying?
They ain't riding nothing. They ain't riding nothing. Boy, woo.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna piggyback off of when I heard in the SWAC press conference with Mississippi Valley's coach after getting 2 D2 losses. He was like, his guys, are 100% behind him, and it seems to be like that at Morehouse. The guys are still with the program, and I just think it just speaks to his character. I mean, he's a really likable guy. So this ain't Morehouse year. I don't know if next year gonna be that year either.
They need to stop going to all those classics. That's what they need to do. They need to find an alternative route to make some money.
But their coach has said that he was like, I don't know why we would leave Atlanta. He's been open about that. That was one of his things. But that's what happened. When a one regime is in, and then they make the rules, and then when you come in, you just kind of locked and tied into these games. So,
I got you. So then his locking tied in is like being tied into the whipping block. So they tied because that's exactly what's going on. They are getting shellacked. But I will say this, against Virginia Union, they look like their defense plays well and plays hard. They just were, like you said, young and inexperienced, and then they fell apart in the second half, and they got Jada Byers gone, and that O-line went to work. And then the quarterback is young, and he threw a pick 6 and a few other things. But man, listen. Look, I went to Cheney. I'm going to tell you this. I had no wins in 2 years of playing college football, and I had a tie. So I understand when your team is talented but is demoralized and don't know how to win yet. And that's when you see big numbers in the score because they haven't learned how to be a successful football team. And they're disciplined. You can't see them fighting. They're working hard. They're playing tough. But it's not turning into W's. So stay in Atlanta. Don't ever leave the South. And the South will not rise again if they counting on Morehouse.
Well, listen, they got a few more whoopings to come in the South in Atlanta.
I can believe that.
Look, man, you gotta get a kid something, man. Let them go out on tour. I know you took all your L's in Pennsylvania, but you know they got theirs stretched out. So appreciate you for hopping on, Cole. We're gonna bring Kris back in, and let's see. So next up. So did I take from that Morehouse? Okay. Let's see. All right. Next on my list, we've got Shaw, Elizabeth City State. Shaw is a 4.5-point favorite over Elizabeth City State. Kris, what do you think?
Well, this is also one of the games to keep an eye on. I mean, it's probably not going to be high scoring, but you do have two teams that are looking to kind of separate themselves from the absolute bottom of the conference right now. So if we talk about separation Saturday light, it's trying to stay from the absolute basement of the CIAA right now. And so, you know, what I'm particularly interested in, I think Shaw, what some people may not realize is that like Shaw really did have a very difficult opening slate with Benedict, Virginia Union, and Bowie State. So now they're playing somebody who's kind of on their level right now. And, you know, can they make something out of it is the question. They definitely have a little bit more productive passing game than Elizabeth City. But Elizabeth City's run game has shown some real flashes with the transfer from UNC Pembroke. So I think it's going to be really interesting. They definitely have the edge in special teams as well. I think Shaw does. So I think this is very favorable for them. I really do think that this is a very, very favorable game for the Bears.
Okay. Staying in Raleigh, but actually not really staying in Raleigh because they're going north. St. Augustine's University is taking their road show to Bowie State, to Prince George's County, Maryland, where they are a resounding 35.5-point underdog to one of the Axis powers of the North in Bowie State University. Is 35 points enough, Kris?
No. I mean, St. Aug, man, like that's just the team right now that they just need to recruit more talent. I mean, they just ain't got it at quarterback. It's just not there. And it's not there in the running game either. So what do you really have with St. Aug? I just don't know, man. You know, if you remember I think it was like the last time these two teams played, like St. Aug made it really interesting because Bowie was kind of like, and I think we need to have a segment now called Playing with Your Food. Because that's exactly what Bowie State did the last time, and St. Aug made a game out of it. But I mean, we're talking about probably the least productive offense in the conference with St. Aug right now, especially what we saw out of Livingstone. Like, I mean, I'm not. This is gonna get ugly. It's gonna get ugly.
Yeah, well, we shall see. We shall see. So I think that actually is all of our games for this week. Yeah. So, you know, week 3 is in the books. Week 4 is coming up. Exciting week 3. I'll as we get ready to wind up here, I'll give you guys a chance to make your final statements, but we'll acknowledge some of our folks in the chat. Appreciate everybody hanging with us. I know there's a lot going on. Savannah State, Albany State, and Morehouse have coaches less than 2 years at their school. Give them all a full 4-year recruiting cycle. And you know, hey, these days, folks be wanting you out. You know, luckily, even at the D2 level, you know, folks want you out. They want you out. Depends on how long some of these contracts are. We have definitely seen a big turnover in the SIAC, and not as much in the CIAA, but eventually in the CIAA as well, too, with the coaches there. So we shall see. Shaw play calling. Their OC. Their OC has his work cut out for him. Bowie State by 30. I think by 40 might actually be accurate here. I guess 30 is a little bit more DC though. A little bit more Prince George's County. Yeah, so close game last year. So yeah, I will give both of you guys your final to-dos. We will start with Kris, and then we will go over to Kendrick. So Kris, the floor is yours. Let's go.
Well, we talked a little bit earlier about injuries, and we talked about the unfortunate injury that happened to Trevor Willard at Winston-Salem State. But I think, if there was a bigger loss to a team that happened this past weekend, was Upton Bailey from Virginia State, the running back. It was kind of let out on Trojan Insider that he's going to be out for the year. Very dynamic back. I know we've talked about him on the show before, but he got injured and he's out. And that forces Virginia State maybe to look at things a little bit differently now, not having a senior rusher back there on their 1-2 punch with Kimo Clark. But I just want to mention that because that was somebody I was certainly looking at to see how he performed over a full season as the number one option, and now we won't get that. So that's actually kind of sad. So I am going to end on a little bit of a sad note. Otherwise, definitely look forward to see how the South performs this week.
Okay. All right. Yes. Very sad for the young man. Hopefully, he can bounce back and moving forward. Kendrick, the floor is now yours. What's
I want y'all to take a good look at this background. Y'all see them boys back there? Them boys back there? They coming to a stadium near you. And you better be ready. This guy right here, he the truth. This guy right here, Will, he the truth. This guy right here, dang, I can't believe I got my boy Meeks, with the HBCU game day. But that's my boy Meeks. That's my boy Petty. We got the best wide receiver room in the conference. I just want y'all to know that. And I don't want to talk about no other team in the SIAC. I'm going to show my bias today. It's all about Ski. Lane, you on the clock. And then y'all know what? That week after that, when we come back next week, I'm going to be on one because we got Alabama A&M. And we going to really talk, and we going to talk, and we going to talk, and we going to talk because we got something to say. But y'all show them boys the respect. Best wide receiver room in the conference, and that's all I got to say.
Well, there we go. There we go with Kendrick. I'll give my last word real quick, and then we'll go. So I have a challenge, and this goes out to the folks in Charlotte. Yes, you, the CIAA office. CIAA office. We need to hear from you. We need to hear from you because they are woefully quiet. We're woefully quiet. Been woefully quiet on some of these big time issues that have happened in the league. So we need to hear from you guys about this Elizabeth City Winston-Salem State game. Obviously, both coaches feel two different ways, but it has been put out there in the public, and so we are looking forward to hearing. What the conference is going to do. We've had some other times where the conference has, we'll look at the Livingstone Johnson C. Smith game a couple of years ago, where the CIAA kind of happened at the end of the season. We never really got a resolution. We just like some transparency one way or another, just with how this is being dealt with or approached, or what the ruling is, as we move forward. Because again, we love HBCU football. D2 HBCU football definitely does matter, but it also matters that as we're putting on this brighter light on our D2 HBCUs, that's going to require everybody to kind of look at what they're doing. So hopefully we'll get some type of response about what happened with the Elizabeth City Winston-Salem State game, and some type of directive. So the 10 personal fouls that were called, and there probably could have been a lot more called as well. Hopefully we'll get some answers on that, and so we'll have some resolution going forward. So we can keep things in control as best we can. I know that's a big issue in college football, and as CIAA is the oldest league conference for HBCUs, looking for you guys to be out there in front as well. So with that, we will conclude tonight's episode of D2 HBCU Football Matters. Oh man, this is probably our longest episode so far. Shout out to Coach Colson for coming on earlier and for giving us his insight. Again, great for him going across the way. Our first guest. We'll try to have some more guests if you guys like, but appreciate you guys as always. Remember, D2 HBCU football matters, and we'll see which of us on Saturday night will be on somebody's Summer Jam screen. It was Kendrick last week. Kris has not been on there yet, and I kind of got put on the Summer Jam screen at my own school. Yeah. Matter of fact, I think I kind of have that clip too. Maybe let's see if I got that clip too before we get on that. Since your Summer Jam screen moment was tweeted out by the school, mine, I believe I tweeted mine out. Let's see. Do I have it? Do I have it on here? Because I did kind of give the Winston-Salem State a little bit. Give Winston-Salem State a little bit of. They had a little smoke for me at the beginning of the year. They started off with with the money game to North Carolina Central, and they were heavy underdogs. And I had to ask a question. And anybody that knows me for real, I love Winston-Salem State. I'm clearly happy when they win, but when they don't win, and I'm talking about everybody else's team, inevitably I'm always fighting. So let's see. I should have queued this up already, but I will take my smoke that I got. I'll take my smoke that I got here. I don't get any love anywhere I go. It just is what it is. It's just kind of what comes along with being.
Did somebody revoke your credentials for something you said earlier?
Oh, that was Shaw. That was the good folks at Shaw, man. I love to give those guys a hard time. Shout out to Mr. Lynch there. Let's see here, and I know I should have put this a little bit earlier, but I gotta take my smoke as well. Maybe we will call this smoke session. If anybody wants to
HBCU DJ, the DJ.
Bam.
Show me the model. What was that point spread again? Yeah. What was that? He always been a deficit, that. Bring the deficit on
So look, man, I got my own smoke session. The voice that brought up the point spread was my guy Corey Stewart. We went to school together, so I'll take it from him. And the players are feeling good. So congratulations, Rams. You got one win, but that's great. But it's a standard at WSSU. So you got Bluefield State. They're coming down from the mountains. They feel like they're going to take over. Last week, folks thought they could punch you in the mouth, and they saw otherwise. So, make it count 2 weeks in a row. And, we'll see if I'm a victim of the next smoke session. So there's that. But
now get 5 more so we can get y'all in Florida.
Okay, look, we'll see. I mean, hey, after what I saw the other day, I definitely think that I think 6 wins is on the table. The way things are going, I mean, it's early. I don't want to jinx them, but this CIAA South looks kind of interesting to me. So, long way to go. I know those guys in Fayetteville, they're still the CIAA South Kings until dethroned, but I don't know. We shall see. Anyway, again, we are going to go ahead and call this one today. Remember, everybody, D2 HBCU football matters, and we will catch you later.